call this meeting to order. Let's stand and recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Public for which Let's pray. We recognize our dependence on you and ask for your help in making this meeting productive. We pray for clear minds, efficient communication, and effective problem solving. Brief moment for your own intentions. A motion to approve the agenda. Motion second to approve the agenda. Any discussion to that motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Opportunity for public comments. Anyone wish to speak before us? Public comment. As always, I'll give 3 minutes per person.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Cindy Cook, Meade County. Our whole election process is a sham. This entire election should be illegal because only ES&S investors know what the outcome will be. We have selections, not elections. It appears selection results were loaded into the L&A, logic and accuracy. And isn't that a play on words? What a joke, logic and accuracy. It was all predetermined who would win and who would lose. Let me repeat, I would think common sense would tell you, all of you, if you can't audit the elections, you would dump the tabulators. We have no access to the cast vote records, ballot images, and a software that can manipulate votes through an algorithm. Oh yes, and ES&S says their software is proprietary. What? Proprietary in our elections. And all of you are complicit. You can't look inside the tabulator. ES&S won't let you. There was a race in Meade County of an incumbent who received the same amount of votes as 2 years ago. The opposition, who was unknown in the political world, received hundreds of more votes than the incumbent. And we're supposed to believe this unknown won. With this disastrous election system, how do we know if anyone won or lost? How do we know? We don't. And you don't. No wink, total vote mock election results percentages displayed temporarily on the SOS website magically mirrors Tuesday's primary election result percentages exactly. What is the probability of that? Candidates and citizens obtain screenshots prior to the takedown. Is it a random chance that mock election test results percentages equals election night results? Mathematically impossible. Ask Grok, ask Claude. It's obvious. The right thing to do is to hand count the governor's race. And making a decision for you to preserve our Constitution by assuring us we have a free and fair election. And that's not even bringing up the cost of the machines versus hand counting the ballots. So today I'm asking that you hand count the governor's race. I don't know if you've already made that decision, but we are asking that you do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. Anybody else wish to come speak before us today? Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Karen McNeil. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I was a candidate twice in District 32, which I know is not Meade County. and the first time I lost 60-40, and the second time I lost 60-40. And the whole night, if you were tracking the numbers, it was 60-40 the whole night long, which seems very strange to me. And my son Justin McNeil was running for U.S. Senate, and the whole night it was 75-25. So you just have to wonder if something nefarious is going on. So I'm for hand counting, and I just wanted to, as a private citizen, give you my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McNeil. Anyone else want to speak before us today?
Good morning. I'm Dale Boos, Meade County. Well, here we are again. You know, I'd like to congratulate the winners, and I'd like to say I'm sorry to the losers. But I really can't, because no one can prove to me that you won or you lost. I was at the test deck viewing, and you know, I got there and I got handed this sheet from the state's attorney. He goes, "This is the protocol we're going to use to do the test deck testing." First sentence, it says, "At least 25 test ballots must be included in the total of all test decks." 25. So we're testing, and all of a sudden I stopped the testing, and I noticed on my video, I have it all recorded, that some precincts had 17 ballots run through the test deck. Some had 18, some had 23, some had 40, which is legal. But some weren't legal. So I asked, why aren't we using the minimum number required to go through the precincts for the testing? The state's attorney said to me, quote, "It all depends on how you interpret the number 25. Really? Is that what you would have said, Talbot? I mean, my God. What the heck kind of answer was that? Sounds like a $95,000 a year answer. Anyway, McCook County's going to hand counting the governor's race. And, you know, it's just too bad that we can't prove anything in our elections, one way or the other. Is that what you guys want? I mean, that's not transparent. And the cost, I've given you guys the cost. Now let me ask you this. If I came up with a solution that you could save $60,000 to $80,000, would you be interested? If anybody said, I said, well, in your business, if I could save you $60,000, $80,000, would you be interested in that? I would certainly think you would say, count me in. Yeah, what do you got? Well, I've been through these figures a number of times and presented them. And you could have saved $60,000 to $80,000 in the last election cycle, at least in 2024, on hand counting versus the tabulators.
Your time, Mr. Boos. Anybody else wish to speak for us today? Anybody else wish to speak for us today? Mr. Cleverad, could you come forward, please? Mr. Boos brings up a good point. What did you mean by how you interpret number 25?
That was not the statement.
Okay.
There are two sentences involved here, and I'm trying to get them up on the screen for you to see,
Certainly.
as to how the test deck gets done. The Pennington County auditor was on the TV the night before we had done ours, and stated that in their interpretation they have to run 25 of every face, which is every possible ballot combination. The first sentence was read accurately, and if you can get it up, otherwise if you can just post, okay.
Hey, before we get that up, you were at the...
I was.
Did you see anything that the auditor or any of the staff did wrong
No.
in the process?
We had talked ahead of time about what needed to be done, and it is a matter of these two sentences. The first one was read accurately as it needs 25 in the test deck. The second one, and my apologies, if you would read it out loud, because I don't have my glasses with me. Second sentence, which is up there. Individual test decks for individual ballots must be of sufficient size to prove the accuracy of the system. So it's using two different phrases. At least 25 test ballots must be included in the total of all test decks. Each test deck must be of a sufficient size to prove accuracy. Different phrases interpreted. You can use the same 25 in each sentence, but it's not required, is my interpretation. So using 17 in some of the precincts is perfectly fine if the auditor feels, and she did, that that is sufficient size to prove the accuracy of the system. So I had no problems with the way the test deck was done or the way that it was run through that day.
Any other questions?
So, what was the size that was run?
I'm sorry?
18? Is that what the deal was?
There were a couple that were 17, and some that were 40.
Because they're run for individual races or something, or different races? Is that the issue?
You have to catch votes for each possible candidate, each possible phase, which each precinct is a different phase. So you run a test deck for each precinct because that's an item that is picked up by the tabulator. So you can't just run one precinct and do everybody.
Yeah,
You've got to get every precinctman. You've got to have overcounts. You got to have undercounts. You got to have blanks. You got to have one that has no stamp on it. Everything that the tabulator picks up on gets tested.
So you run a
41 different
because
envelopes.
Because you have different precincts. In some precincts, you only get 30 or 40 votes. Yeah, okay, I understand.
Yeah. So, yeah, she had manila folders, a stack of manila folders, open it up, run them through, close it up. Had her change them around, so they were in order from previous tests where the ones that were kicked out happened to be on top. Well, shuffle them up, make them random. Turn some upside down, because it reads both sides. Reverse orders, have it shuffle like you would a deck of cards. So I was quite satisfied with how Dawn ran it. It went smooth. Everything turned out like it's supposed to.
Yeah, so you ran 41 different decks.
We ran all 41, all 41 precincts. Some of them had 40 in them, some of them had 17, but every precinct had multiple.
Yeah, I mean...
It was, it was over 1,000, I don't remember the exact number, but it was thousands of ballots.
Mathematically, you're probably more accurate with 17 if you're only going to get 100 votes. In a place you're going to get 1,000 votes, you're running 25. So,
okay. Are you familiar with any area other than the city of Sturgis that did a hand count that had any errors in their count? I mean, they only had 1,700 ballots and only one issue on each ballot. And
my job is Meade County. That's where I pay attention to. And I have not heard of others, but I certainly do not consider myself an expert on anything else. Or informed, even.
I'm not sure, but wasn't there one precinct like Fort Meade that had less than 20 votes in it altogether? Like 19 or 9 or something? Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Klebrad. Let's move on. No, you had your time, Mr. Bruce. Let's move on. Let's move on. We're moving on now on our agenda. Let's bring up, you've had your time, Mr. Bruce. Oh, thank you. Sorry. Yeah, you can grab your paper.
Sure.
Let's move on. Emergency Management, Veteran Services.
No matter how many votes a precinct has, you still got to have 20.
Emergency Management. It's time for Emergency Management.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sean Henderson, Meade County Emergency Management and Veteran Services. Busy month as usual. So every early summer and fall we meet. Region 4, everybody comes together when the warm season starts for wildland fire focus, and then blizzards in the fall. You're aware of that meeting. So we had that meeting on May 5th rather, and just I'm sure everybody's aware we're in danger zone with dry season and of course winds and like today. So it's hopefully we get some more moisture, but that was obviously the big focus is fuels and our, I guess, drought. And then as part of our mutual aid agreement between the counties and the Black Hills, we meet about every quarter for a day of training for like scenarios and stuff like that. So this time it was way down in Hot Springs, and we all met down there and tried to play ball together, and it was good training. And then one caveat. I was engaged about that missing young man in Black Hawk. Unfortunately, it turned out not great, but I was on standby in case we had to get any aerial assets for the search, but it wasn't requested ultimately. And then upcoming this month, Sturgis Police and Meade County Sheriff's Office is holding a tabletop exercise that I'll definitely be attending, and invited some people, and that was a really good opportunity, and it was a great experience last year when the Sheriff's Office hosted it. And then the rally meetings are coming up. There's that time. The South Dakota Office of Public Health is holding a pre-meeting to the pre-meetings, I suppose. And different emergency management organizations will meet, and their focus is more of the health side of it, but I always attend those, or try to. And then our Raleigh stakeholder meeting, our big one, is July 15th. That'll be next month. So I think most of you attend, and quite a large crowd. But other than that, is there any questions about the emergency management side?
Questions?
Hopefully not a busy season.
Yeah, well, for all of us, really. And on the Veterans Services side, numbers are a little bit, I'm sorry. Oh. Aw, all right, see you. No. Anyway, the numbers are a little bit low. I took a couple days of PTO. It was really nice. And then, I was out a little bit for the emergency management side. But, the Veterans side continues to be very, very busy. And that's about it. Any questions, Commissioners?
Any questions for Mr. Henderson? Hey, thank you for coming in today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Equalization.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rhea Crane. I do have reports uploaded in board docs for you to review. I can tell you that we have one OHE appeal this year, which is our 800-plus unit housing project in Ellsworth. We do have our 2026 abstract submitted, which means that we are now working on our 2027 assessment file. We are happy to report that staff visited about 200 commercial properties for our reappraisal project in this last month. I am actually planning to be gone the week of June 22nd to the 26th for training in Peer. It is a tax policy IAAO class. Any questions that you have of me?
Where is that class at?
In Peer.
I noticed housing prices have gone up again, according to the last report. So apparently, the good news of them coming down, if you're a buyer, is not holding.
Any other questions? Thank you. Facilities.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ben Petrocco, Meade County Facilities Director here with a quick report on some of our workload from the month of May and early into June. We had another busy month with the typical HVAC, plumbing, and lock repairs in the Law Center. I think we had 48 total work orders, and we had 7 after-hours call-ins. We had several issues with some water leaks and plumbing drain backups in the kitchen in the jail, as well as some door locks that required immediate repairs over the weekend. Kind of as far as projects go in the Law Center, we were able to finish the carpet installation in the jail control room, which badly needed that done. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you probably noticed the exterior project that's going on the Law Center. They started that a little earlier. They were planning originally on doing it after the rally, but when they said they could start, I was all for that to try to get it done before. I'd say they're around 75% complete probably on that.
Looking good where they've gone.
Yeah, it's definitely looks a lot better. There was a lot of stuff that needed repaired, so. And this newer product's supposed to be more durable, they're telling me too. It won't crack as easy, as well as it's got a different texture that if you do have damage, it's easier to match it with repairs. That other one was kind of a tough one to ever make it look right when we patched. We completed our annual fire alarm device inspections on all 3 buildings. That went good. We're in full swing with our lawn mowing and trimming season. And we did actually relocate some parking lot signs to help make some of the mowing a little bit easier. We pushed some of them into the blacktop surface and off the lawn. So, I mean, that's going to cut down considerably on some of the time in some of those areas where you had to weed eat around them, and now you can just mow. As always, been spending a fair amount of time working on the lawn sprinkler systems for all 3 buildings, making repairs and just overall getting everything adjusted and tuned properly. It's always a bit of a process. We were able to decommission another sheriff vehicle, and we got that stripped down, and it has been reissued to the equalization department. And it sounds like we may have another pickup. I'm not real sure if we're going to do that one or not yet. John came and looked at it yesterday, I know, so kind of waiting to hear on that. But either way, we'll have to get that one stripped down, either for auction or reissue.
What are you doing with the one that blew the engine?
That one is just going to go to auction. It's
Pickup heaven?
The Ford, I believe it was. Yeah, that one we've got to strip down and get ready for the next auction for Blue Wave. I haven't heard when that is going to happen, I guess. Kind of on the highway department side of things, we had several electrical repairs on the main shop. There was a few outlet receptacles that were shorted out and needed replaced, and had a pretty major repair on the furnace out there also. I replaced the blower motor, control transformer, fan squirrel cage was damaged, and the low voltage control wiring to the outdoor AC unit had deteriorated due to weather over the years, so it was actually shorted out. Had to replace all that. We had the election set up and tear down. Everything went pretty smooth on our side of things with all the vehicles and the hauling of all the election cans back, and everything went pretty good. Sounds like we're going to have another one that's going to be at the high school in July, and I'm assuming West Gym is where that's going to take, the big gym on the west side. So that'll be kind of a new, we've only set up at the community center before, so hopefully everything will go all right out there. Guess that's kind of all about I have to report for the month of May and early June. Anybody have any questions on anything?
No questions. I just want to thank you and your staff. I know election season, you guys kind of go unnoticed a little bit, and Tony, you too back there. You guys have a lot more to do when we're busy with elections, not just the election, but the forums and stuff that take place in the evenings. So I appreciate you having all that ready and to go.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, I'm sure that it's hard for the general public to know what all happens behind the scenes. You know, it takes a lot of orchestration.
Yeah, there's a lot of hauling stuff around for the setup, and then just the vehicle prep and trailers and stuff is quite a bit. But we're getting better with the vehicles. At least I feel like we have a pretty good setup for that now. We're not having to use as many trailers, which is always nice because that always presented a bit of an issue too. So yeah, keep it up.
Any other questions for Mr. Petracco? Thanks for coming in, David. Deborah with Human Resources asked if we could move her report down where she's at on the agenda. So if we can go to IT now.
Morning, Commissioners. Meade County IT, Tony Cummins. KPI, very busy May with work orders. We expected that after the post-migration stuff for O365, a lot of cleanup to do on there. So, you know, that's reflecting in the work orders for May. Don't have anything else on the KPI or see if any questions. Cyber hygiene report, same as, you know, previous months, slightly different numbers. We're looking good. Everything is testing back good from our 3-letter external agencies that are helping maintain, monitor, and manage. Euros are good there.
Thank you.
A lot of that's to do with the employee training too, so it's not just all IT. As I say, most meetings are last line of defense is the employees. So security
our training's going?
Very good. Yep, we're about 75%, 80% through our this year's training for security awareness training. We got a few stragglers that I'll be poking up the email here.
Very many people that are clicking the links.
We still have a couple on training and stuff like that, which is okay for training. You know, that's how we learn. There's usually a follow-up email from IT explaining what, where, and why they should have maybe caught that and slow down and what to look out for next time around, you know. Like I said, the phishing testing is a huge benefit for the county. It trains people on the real ones that do eventually get through. But we're sitting a lot better now with the migration. You know, there's a lot more automated tools in the back end that are stopping way more stuff getting to the inbox. So that's working a lot better. Just a couple of items just to get you caught up on here. So the Pro Q&A, the priority dispatch stuff, they went live May 28th. It's fully up and running right now. The dispatch center is using that right now each day. We do have one slight remaining issue, nothing to do with the day-to-day operational. It's just a back-end piece for a server that we're still working on. So one little tiny piece to add on that, and that's a project 100% done. But it's fully operational now in the dispatch center. We have. I'd like to bring something for website modernization to the attention, just as a discussion. As part of the County Secure SD and Microsoft 365 modernization efforts, we successfully transitioned county email services to .gov. Throughout that process, there was significant emphasis placed on establishing a consistent, trusted public-facing government presence for our citizens. With the recent adoption of the county logo and the completion of the .gov migration, I believe it's a great time to evaluate the modernization of the county website and the next steps in that process. As part of that, I've identified potential funding associated with the Secure SD guys that would be able to assist with the website migration, all the redirects, and the org domain parking, etc. So that was something I wasn't aware of. It came out of the back end of our 365 email migration. So there's some funds available there for the Secure SD projects. Additionally, I've begun preliminary discussions with a vendor recommended by Dakota State University. Actually, they've used them in the past for other entities, other counties. So we're kind of in the preliminary discussions with those guys, with that vendor, to see what they can. You know, it looks like the project cost working through Dakota State University and their preferred vendor would come in considerably lower than what we had anticipated. Again, I've no numbers yet, but, you know, I'm pretty confident it's going to be quite a bit lower than what we expected to pay for that project, or what we had assigned funds. So basically, at this point, I'm just asking for permission to continue discussions, and anything, you know, further that would be, you know, more details, more, you know, costs, et cetera, and then, you know, obviously bring it back to the commission for final approval.
I think it goes without saying, obviously it's nothing we can act on, but I think it goes without saying, we did assign funds to look at a website, so I mean, I think the permission is there for you to at least be talking to them.
Okay.
Nothing else. This is, I know it's certainly something that our goal to get a better website since I've been on this commission anyway. So,
yeah.
I think that would be.
Well, it's perfect timing coming off the back end of the migration as well, with being identified to having some funds available.
Especially if there's funds available, this is kind of...
Right. Now, to reiterate, the funds will be available for the migration move and any of the technical stuff in the back end, not necessarily for the rebranding, rebuilding.
So why don't you get us a package put together is what I would suggest, unless anyone else would object.
Oh, I would agree.
And
go
bring
through the process.
Bring it before us, and then we can make a decision. We want to go forward.
Okay, and then one last item. Cybersecurity performance goal risk assessment. Later this afternoon, I'm going to have a meeting with Jim Edmond, the cybersecurity coordinator for South Dakota. He's a CISA employee. He's doing a follow-up with our cyber performance goal back that we completed in 24. The assessment is part of the ongoing initiative from South Dakota Secure SD and provides an independent review of the county's cybersecurity posture. You know, since the original assessment, the county has completed a number of significant cybersecurity improvements, including our Microsoft 365 modernization, expanded multi-factor authentication, enhanced email security protections, and vulnerability management processes. The original assessment back in 24 helped guide the actual migration and the contacts and all the setup for the migration to our 365. So, you know, 2 years ago we had that meeting with Jim, and then he led me down the path of what to do, where to do it, and how to get those grants, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm meeting with him this afternoon as a follow-up to see what other projects that may be on the line that he could maybe assist with, or funding that may be available. Any questions?
Sounds like you've been doing a lot of back-end work. That's good.
Yep. A lot of tidy up back-end stuff, yep. The not so glorious stuff.
Any questions for Mr. Cummins? Hey, thank you for coming in, Dave.
Thank you.
Let's move down to highway reports and updates. I see Superintendent Eastman is not here. Is he going to be here? You guys? Would you prefer to move down to auditor? Okay, let's move down to auditor if your auditor's ready. Move down to auditor D1, reports and updates from the auditor.
Good morning, Commissioners. The next meeting is where I actually give my report. I just wanted to give an update that we're moving on, preparing for the runoff election, which will be on July 28th. If we have ballots, absentee voting is scheduled to begin on Friday the 12th. And we want to start to spread the word that Sturgis precincts will be voting at the Sturgis High School, the main gym, due to the community center already being reserved for that time. So that is one polling location change that we will have for the runoff election.
And you've been successful in getting all the other polling locations reserved?
The other polling locations are reserved and will remain the same.
Great, on short notice.
Are most of the election workers available? Or did you have to get some new people?
Several of them are. And when we had our election school, we asked them to let us know if they are available to work on the 28th, and a lot of them did reply, and a lot of them, I think, are still reaching out and letting us know if they can work.
Don, are you concerned with getting ballots by the 28th, or by the 12th, I mean?
It is a short turnaround time, so I am a little concerned whether we will have them or not, and we will put notice out if we don't have them.
But that'll be a statewide issue, that's not just a county issue.
Possibly. There are some counties doing hand counting, some counties are doing optical scan. So there's a mix of both.
And we went through this with the primary, so it'll be fine. Any other questions? Most of this is until we get into Golden Valley Road District updates. Do you have anything else to add to that?
I don't. We have the budget reports through May 2026. We have the overtime report, and then the proposed Golden Valley Road District.
Okay. Is there any questions on items D1 through 3? The commission. I'll just add before we go down to the Golden Valley Road District, Don, this was your first election, and you and your staff did a really good job keeping things together. I appreciate that. You worked a lot of long hours, and Rhea, you helped significantly down there as well. But yeah, I as your liaison noticed all the work that you guys did. Put in a lot of time, and everything ran very smoothly.
Thank you.
Very first election, so congratulations and good job.
Thank you. I want to thank our team. We have a great team that put in a lot of effort.
And I look forward to you handling many elections in the future.
Thank you.
Let's move down to D4, which is the proposed Golden Valley Road District.
The Golden Valley Road District, we have an order declaring the road district. They have met their posting, attaches the affidavit of posting. The next step, if approved by the commission, would be to set the date of the election for the road district. So we are requesting approval of the order declaring the Golden Valley Road District.
Setting the date, right?
Setting the date.
Okay. And that's
For the
essentially
election.
all we are doing with this is setting a date for the election, because everything else has been decided between, it has been up to you.
Right. If you approve the order, then
I thought the statute required the election to be held.
it says within the district, or there's another part,
We had the
or
last,
at the county seat.
yeah, we had the last one here, didn't we, at the Erskine Building when we did the Stage Barn and Wonderland Homes? Yes, when we did that one, it was held here at the Erskine Building.
The statute is in administrative content. And if it is approved, I would propose that the election date be on June 30th at the Erskine Building from 6 to 7 o'clock.
Any other questions to that? And or action? Any questions and or action? What happens if a date is not set?
Is that enough time? I'm thinking about when people get off work and drive here.
The last one was for 2 hours, and it was very slow.
I'm kind of like Talbot. I remember when they used to have the road district votes right near the development. But
would one of you guys want to come forward, please? There's a more probably, or whoever. Is there a reason you guys requested it here, or is this something, or would you guys prefer somewhere else, or do you have somewhere else in mind? Could you speak in your microphone, and please identify yourself, Mr. Zamora.
I'm Bob Zamora, and this is Alice McWilliams. I'm the president of the HOA. No, this was, we don't have any, I don't have any objection.
We had really no discussion on our end
No,
as
we
to
didn't.
where the election would happen.
But we don't.
We left it to the planning's discretion.
And you don't have a problem with it being here?
I do not.
Or the date?
Nor the date.
What about the time of 6 to 7?
I think the time is reasonable. That we usually have our regular quarterly and annual meetings.
Oh, okay.
So everything that you see here, if we would set it for this date, time, and location would be okay with you guys.
We have a pretty extensive communications network within our community, so everybody will be informed of.
And it has to be, statute requires to have it posted and stuff, so.
And this is a weeknight.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. So is there any other questions, comments, and or action?
I'd make a motion to approve the order declaring Golden Valley.
I'll second.
Motion second on the floor to declare I think we're setting the location, the date and time. Is that correct, Don?
The statute says the auditor can set that date and time. We're just asking you to approve the order.
Okay, so the motion is to approve the order. And so that's good with you guys. Okay. Motion second to approve the order. Is there any discussion to that motion?
Just a couple comments. Why I'm going to vote for this is because it's a procedural vote. Again, I think the district boundaries are going to cause you guys issues. But that's your call. So my vote shouldn't be seen as an endorsement of the district or the district as proposed, but just that we have to set this for an election.
I'd echo Talbot's opinion as well. I think the map does cause some problems later in the future for you guys, but that's your discretion. Procedurally.
Any other discussion to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you guys for coming in today. Good luck.
Thank you, Commission.
Let's move down to human resources. Wait, sorry, Deborah, if you'd sit down, please. We got highway. We skipped over highway.
Good morning, Commissioners. Troy Eastman, Highway Superintendent. The first agenda item is just some updates and normal traffic count data that we have been collecting. One of the things that isn't on here, I guess, would be the Sunshine Valley Road. The DOT requested that we count traffic on this road. It's part of the Elk Creek S-curve realignment, the safety grant project. They needed to know what that traffic count looked like for a sound study that they're doing. I guess part of the, design, or at least knowing how many cars there are to know what to anticipate, I guess.
Did you say sound, S-O-U-N-D?
Yeah. I guess there's a threshold for a certain number of cars that it gets too noisy where it may need, I don't know, trees or something. I'm not sure exactly what they do.
Something?
Perhaps.
Well, so I live like 4 miles from the interstate, and I can hear the interstate. Could they do something about that?
I'll mention it to them.
Yeah.
I grew up on Junction Avenue,
But yeah, that's the latest on that. And then also the DOT did reach out and let me know that, that project could be going at the same time as Exit 46 when they're redoing that. So we may see quite a bit of traffic through our project because of it.
Yeah, actually, it would make some sense. They probably could get some better bids on that project if they're doing it kind of at the same time or around that area.
Frankly, I don't think it'll be a big impact. I mean, we're going to do a new road. That corner, we'll have the intersection construction, but generally, I don't think.
Yeah, you should be able to keep the existing road for most of the
Yeah,
project.
they're still using that road, so it shouldn't really change us much. Our project shouldn't be that affected where they actually have to do the work.
And actually, you might see less traffic going towards Piedmont down that road when they're doing
Yeah, it's going to divert things. They're going to have to find other routes, so that might, make it better for us, too.
You'll have people dropping down to 52, probably, I suppose.
Yep. So I just wanted to give that update. And then Haynes Avenue, we are moving along there. The road is obviously still closed, and beginning on the 15th, so on Monday, they'll be doing that cement stabilized portion of the project, which we need to isolate the one lane at a time in order for that cement to be able to cure out. So we're going to allow northbound traffic coming, for just the local residents. We still do not want through traffic. It's not open by any means. There will be, still delays. The project has to go on, and so the folks that live there just can only go north. So if they're going rapid, they're going to have to go north and then around whichever way they want to get south, I guess, or into Rapid City area. So I just wanted to notify everybody we will be switching the message boards and doing additional traffic control, signage, barricades, all that sort of thing. But yeah, that announcement was just sent out yesterday by Western, the contractor in charge, and we'll do our part with our message boards and whatever help that they need, but just kind of wanted to make everybody aware of that. Then we also have the Elk Vale, the county-wide Autoseal and chip seal and asphalt patching project that was supposed to begin here this week on the 10th, now has been pushed back, a couple weeks at least here till the end of June before it can start. I don't know if the wet weather had something to do with that, but Bituminous, the contractor, they notified us end of the last week that they had to delay the start date. So
the big impact of that is going to be New Underwood Road and Elk Hill going north, plus the patches that we have spread on all around.
Correct. So we'll give you further updates when New Underwood Road that's going to be the biggest traffic concern right there. So when we get a little bit more closer to the actual start date, we'll have some more announcements for that and how we're going to handle the traffic the way things are looking. But we'll have to do some work prepping the road before they can start anyway. So, I mean, within a week or two, we're going to be out on New Underwood Road starting to touch things up and get it ready for that Autoseal. And then there's the traffic count reports, but that's the same stuff that we always have on there. If anybody has any questions or concerns about those, they are posted online.
I don't see avalanche, is that?
I don't know if we have it counted recently, but if we went to that traffic count plan for the 2026, does it show the whole what we have done, haven't done?
Yeah, but it's not even listed.
Okay, well, it might have been done last year. We might not have it on there, but we can get you that.
Sure. That was a number I was just curious about.
Okay.
As much as anything, 'cause I know it's a busy road. It's a headache road, that's for sure.
Yes.
But, and it always requires a lot of work, it seems like. I was just curious the numbers. Yeah, if you could have someone email that to me.
Yep, I will get them to you shortly.
Thank you. Any other questions on that? Okay, if not, let's move.
I have a question.
Okay.
Today's the anniversary of the 1972 flood, which I learned the last time I brought it up. Not too many people were around for it. And since then, we have got so many trees growing in that Bear Butte Creek, part of which is in Meade County. I want us to find out if there's any law that restricts our cutting down those trees, because all we have is a barrier. And again, floods come back, and we have all these barriers. Can you look, since we have tree cutters and choppers and everything else, some of those trees are getting really, really big, and as a result, making the creek bed not only not functional, it's making it hazardous. In my non-engineering view, but really, if you drive up through there,
Yep, I know what you mean.
It's really getting bad.
Yep, we can look into that too.
I think you run it by state's attorney, and probably should see whether there's any grants. I would be very hesitant to think that we have any power unless it's in a right of way surrounding a bridge, which area we should keep in our bridge area. And about the time you're going in on a creek bed and somebody's screaming at you because they like trees, that's not where I want to be.
No, there's a lot of permits, environmental things that you have to work around for that for very good reason. But yeah, that is an obstruction, no doubt.
You know, Talbot, since we found out we have that right away, which is really immaterial to this, how do we find out the rest of that bed? Is that all owned like by Hills Materials or something?
I have no idea. I mean, the creek, that dry creek bed runs for a long, long ways.
I know.
And, you know, the mere fact you might have a portion of a right-of-way doesn't necessarily give you rights to go in there. So, one issue we're taking, Tanya running some stuff down for me, so rights might exist.
It does appear there are parceled properties that most of those lie on somebody else's property.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there might be some programs out there through either the Fed or the state where you can go in and get support where if the landowner agrees, you can clear them, kind of like just even doing forest clearing. So, I mean, they're worth looking for, but...
And that might be something that emergency management can team up with maybe on some...
Yeah.
That's a very good idea.
But yeah, before our budget starts exploding with the tree crew and everything else on highway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go down to the rolling dice road district cost sharing agreement.
Yeah, this is, we've been talking about this for a few meetings now, and we've changed the terms in here a couple times just to simplify it and, include everything that we're trying to do here. But we're working with the Rolling Dice Road District to improve Dias Avenue, which is also a county road, and then it turns into part of the road district. And they have this large hill there that runs north that has always been a challenge to maintain, and we'd like to add base stabilization to it since they've already put really good gravel on this road at their expense, and they're basically just looking for us to do the work, and they're going to pay for the base stabilization and the materials that we got to put into it. And that way it will be way less work for them, and it'll last for years versus just constant maintenance, basically. So it's a win-win for both of us.
Mr. Muse, would you like to come forward, please?
Morning. My name is Gary Muse, president of the Rolling Dice Road District.
Do you have anything to add, or?
No, I like the new version of what's sent out to us, and I think it'll work out really great.
Highway liaisons, do you guys have anything to add? And you guys have looked this over?
Yeah, I've looked it over, and obviously that road district's done a lot of work on that road. The county's responsible for a portion of it that they've been working on, and this is an example of things that the road district's got money, they've got funds available for this, they've opted out, they've done all of the pieces. This is a collaboration for basically keeping those roads up to date. Maintenance schedules also keeps the blade off the road once we get base stabilization off of it, so that hill we don't have to have issues with blades and traffic and all of the other things. So I think it's a really good opportunity for everybody to win.
Chris, I run everything that. Is there anyone from the public wish to speak for or against this? Commissioner Wizark, you had.
I just thank both Troy and Mr. Muse for working. To me, this makes perfect sense where we can cooperate and deal like this. I mean, you got these road districts where it's the homeowners essentially just trying to put it together, where the county can step in and provide some help to help them maintain those roads, especially those roads that are kind of basically shared. I applaud it. I think it helps everybody long term.
Any other questions, comments, and/or action? We have a resolution before us, which is Resolution 2026-13. That is the agreement between the county and the road district.
Motion to approve Resolution 2026-13.
I'll second.
And it's as written, the red lines or what?
As written with the red lines accepted.
Yep. Clear. Motion second to adopt Resolution 2026-13. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Music. Sorry for working on that as well. Next item is a bid award for magnesium chloride. This is a bid that we had opened, I believe, 2 meetings ago.
Correct.
Ago now. So,
Yep, no, we have reviewed the submitted bids, and I would recommend awarding to Envirotech Services a delivered price of $1.39 a gallon, and then the application rate would be $1.48 per gallon. And they're also willing to apply to county residents in front of their private property or on a county road, but, just the same program we've always been doing. It's handled through the contractors, and that's $1.57 a gallon applied. And we would prep the road ahead of time, just normal maintenance.
So you would prep the residential road?
No, our county road where they apply, but the resident has to pay for the mag, that whatever stretch they want, basically in front of their home on our county road.
Okay, so if road district, can a road district take advantage of this then?
With that
at the applied price or not?
Yeah, but we wouldn't necessarily have to prep it for them because that would be an additional charge for us, I guess.
Right. So the road district, if they wanted to prep it, they could buy at these rates.
Yep.
I mean, generally, that's been my understanding.
Yes.
Just to kind of this is always a confusion piece, but the applied price is on county maintained roads that we may not mag, right? So if it's a maintained county road in front of somebody's residence that you're supposed to, they can purchase the cost of the mag and do it during that process. There's pieces in the county that go in front of houses that we have not deemed necessary to mag due to either flat or not enough traffic or whatever. But so it's not private. It's not in road districts. It's a maintained county road that the owners in front of those could purchase cost of the mag in conjunction with our scheduling.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Always a confusing topic.
It is.
Will you please make sure that at least 24 hours prior to the application, the signs notifying residents are up? I get more complaints because they drive in and it's, oh my.
Mm-hmm. They don't always understand. A lot of times we spray water on roads, and it's not always just mag.
Oh, I know. Which I've corrected a few of them so far because...
Do you have signs that we do?
Yeah, yes. We do.
Yes.
We do have signs. And
yeah,
just warn them at least 24 hours ahead so they can change.
We have failed to do that a few times, and we're getting better at it. But yeah, nobody ever seems to like it when we're out there with those water trucks.
And
I know.
Kind of a generalized mag comment is we've changed. When I first started on the commission, we did a mag season. But now, anytime that the road needs it, we may do a half shot of mag or a lighter shot of mag to help maintain that process. We do have tanks with that in it, so it's not necessarily the mag season. It's when it needs to be done. And the water trucks are out there.
Right.
It's not just the 1 month anymore.
Okay, any other questions, comments, or action on awarding Envirotech the bid?
I'll move to approve Envirotech Services for mag.
Motion second to award Envirotech the bid. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Gravel aggregate, same thing. We opened this about a month ago.
Yes, we've reviewed these as well, and I would recommend awarding both of these because due to where we're working, we just never know. You know, we want to drive as far or as least amount as possible, put gravel on our roads, and that can make a big difference in the overall cost of putting gravel on a county road. So, and we need all the gravel we can get.
And fuel costs really drive some of these things. I did notice that we are doing recycled asphalt as a bid item this year as well.
We have some shoulder work that we'd like to add to, just to help kind of define the edge of the road a little bit where you can't really see. It's rural and dark, and yeah, just trying to distinguish one color from another, really.
So we're awarding both these bids as it's written. So for each of these categories, and that makes sense because sometimes trucking costs more than the gravel itself. So, any other questions, comments on this and/or action?
Any idea why we didn't get any limestone bids?
No, I don't know why we didn't.
Are you going to need some limestone?
Yes.
So then are you going to have to reopen some bids then?
Yeah, so there are other, like Pennington County piggyback bids that we can also use, or we could go up to our allowed amount that we can purchase.
So you're covered, or would you prefer to, we can handle it, we'll obviously have to handle that another time. But
yeah, I think we're covered.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, and/or action?
Move to accept the bids for Pleasant Valley Gravel and 63.
Motion is second on the floor to accept the bids for Pleasant Valley Gravel and 63 Industries. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Chairman, who was the second on that?
It is Commissioner Wysorick.
Thank you.
Did I second? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, Talbot seconded.
Yes.
I was in it somewhere. I don't.
Thank you.
You can have it if you want.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Well, it's easier if you stay asleep, Commissioner Wysorick.
Yeah,
That way
well.
you just nod. So.
Yeah, that's me.
Let's move down. And Troy, I should have called you. And you had this on consent at one time before I reviewed the agenda, and I moved that up.
Oh,
I should have let you know that I moved it up. But I just kind of have some questions on how these bids come in and how it works. And I know you've had some. I don't know if you've had some. Sometimes the bids can change. Is that correct? In between times.
Yeah, every day the state fuel price fluctuates, so I mean, literally, it can be one price one day and another price the next, and it kind of depends on how quickly they can deliver it to you. So once we get our quotes, and they have to deliver it within 2 days, otherwise you can basically move on to the next one or take the next one. If you need fuel, you need fuel. So, but we were visited by Al, the state auditor, when he came, was here a few weeks ago, and he mentioned that we need to post these, at a public meeting to show that we're actually getting our quotes. I mean, we're always looking for the cheapest fuel, and that's what we buy, but it has to be available too.
So by approving this, and this is the question I had. So if we approve this, and if it would have stayed on consent, would we just be approving CBH, or are we approving? Can you go out and let's take, for example, if you approve CBH, but the gas tank at Elm Springs is out of fuel and Crown Oil out of Walls happens to be cheaper, can you do that, or are we just approving CBH?
No, you can choose different vendors too. So it's whatever is most advantageous to the county or the best deal. We don't, because we have like these remote shops, and it may be cheaper to get the guy out of Wall to come over versus out of Rapid City. So we can do it however we want. We're required to get these 3 quotes, and then we can choose the best deal out of those. And whether it's multiple vendors, it's fine.
Okay, so what we're doing when we approve these is just approving these numbers.
Yeah, and I think this is really just for informational purposes to show that we've done it, that we're doing what we're supposed to, because we've already paid for the fuel. I mean, this is in the past already, so this is just to literally show what we have been doing and what we've been spending our money on.
So this technically isn't anything we need action on. This is just so it actually is probably more appropriate in your reports than it would be in a consent, as that would take action.
Yeah, I would agree.
So, and that was the only reason I moved it.
No problem.
I should have let you know, but I just had some of those questions, because I know at times that varies. And I know you work with various fuel people. I mean, there's only a couple that we can go through.
We can hardly get 3 quotes sometimes. It was tough until we've, got that company from Wall's information. We were only getting 1 or 2 at best. And, 3 is what we're trying for. You got to attempt to get 3 quotes anyway.
And there's no, to my knowledge, there's no independent fuel dealer in Meade County, is there?
Not that I know of.
Okay. And CBH is basically the only one that has any stations in Meade County, to my knowledge.
What is our current fuel status?
We've recently refilled, I think it was last week again that we just refilled, but it's not every shop, so, half of them probably were refueled and the other half now will be due again here in a week or 2. So, we try not to get below half a tank, really, but, sometimes these guys get down to a quarter and go, and then, by the time the truck gets there, they may be running on fumes, literally, and we've had to go to, CBH out of Union Center and fill up at the station before, we do what we got to do. Otherwise, we have our fuel trailer and tanks in the back of our trucks just to, be more mobile and go out and meet the equipment versus, have to drive our blades or whatever it may be back to the shop or back to the station. We try to fuel on the job. And they will come to a job site too to fill up like we're at a gravel pit where we have our fuel trailer. They will drive out to where we're working to fill that up. So it works out really good for us.
We've spent about $200,000 in fuel.
How's that on par for Norm? Has the increase in fuel cost had a big effect?
We anticipated some of that from last year. Our fuel budget's $500,000, and we've spent about $200,000. We're sitting about where we.
You gotta remember, the fuel costs today are about the exact same they were in 2020.
I know when Biden was. They're actually lower than they were a few years ago.
So it happens.
Okay. Any other questions?
Fluctuates.
Any other questions, comments on fuel? Okay. Thank you, Troy, for coming in today.
You're welcome.
I hate to do this. We're going to have to get down to the scheduled items, Deborah, so I know you've been waiting very patiently, but we're going to have to get through those this shouldn't take us very long. Let's move down to F1, special event license for Aspire Boutique. Anyone here from Aspire Boutique? Yeah, if you want to come forward, please, real quick. We'll give you a couple minutes to explain what you're
at. Aye.
If you turn that seat, if you hit the button there, right there.
Hi, my name is Sarah Larson.
Good morning, Ms. Larson.
Morning.
And you're just asking to have a special event license for the Renaissance Festival.
Correct.
Is there any questions, comments from the commission? Questions, comments, and/or action? I thank you, Mr. Is there anybody from the public wish to speak to this? Anybody from the public wish to speak? Not seeing anyone come forward, I'll close public comment at this time. Is any questions, comments, and/or action?
I assume there's no issues.
I have not heard of any issues. Sheriff West is in the back.
Sheriff
If he
West,
has any
has there been
concerns.
any issues with this?
The special events is going to be held at Kickstand's campground.
Sheriff West just said there's no issues for those listening online. Any other questions, comments, and/or action?
I'll move to approve the special event license for the Renaissance on the 27th, 28th.
Second. Motion second on the floor to approve the special events license on June 27th and 28th. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
F2, which is special event license, which technically originally was not in the hearings because the first one we set a hearing for, which we're not necessarily required, but I just moved it down to keep everything over. Special event license for 11th Annual Buffalo Bucking Bulls benefit. Anybody from the audience wish to speak to this? The audience wish to speak. No one from the audience wishes to speak, so I'll close public testimony at this time. Commissioner Severn, I think you've you've dealt with this in the past, haven't you?
Yeah, I own several bulls in this event. It's basically a benefit that we have every year. This year's a little different. We're changing it to the Meade County Sheriff's fire department, and there's one other, I can't remember what it is, but it's just basically a one-night bull riding with request.
Okay, thank you. Are you going to recuse yourself from this agenda? Okay. The Secretary notes that Commissioner Severn is going to recuse himself. Any other questions, comments on this?
All for public.
I did. I closed public.
So I would say that I live by, not far from where this goes on. They do a good job every year, and there's never really been an issue that I've seen with it. They run a pretty tight ship.
Sheriff West, Sheriff West agreed with that?
Sheriff West used to live by it, too.
Any other questions, comments, and/or action?
I would agree. I think they do a good job. They've been coming since I've been on. I'll move to approve the special one.
Second.
Motion second on the floor to approve special events license for 11th annual Buffalo Bucking Bulls benefit. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. F3, temporary campground hearing.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rhea Crane, Director of Equalization. You have before you 4 applications for temporary campgrounds for the Sturgis Rally. They are recurring campgrounds, no problems that we've dealt with in the past. Nothing new, nothing changed.
So these have all been temporary campgrounds in the past?
Yes.
Okay. Sheriff West, any issues? No issues from the Sheriff. Any other questions, comments, and/or action? Oh, excuse me, thank you. Anyone from the public wish to speak this? Anyone from the public wish to speak? No one's coming forward. I'll close public testimony at this time. Any questions, comments, and/or action?
I'll make a motion to approve the temporary campground permit. Want them named, or, well, what's that?
I think you can just name them as listed in Board Docs: Arnie's Acres, Drag Pipe Saloon, Teach Outs Back 40, and Tilford Gulch.
I'll second.
Motion is second on the floor to approve these temporary campground permits. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have a gravel crushing bid opening at this time.
Okay, this is our annual gravel crushing bid. We have 2 of them. One's from Western Construction, the other one is from 63 Industries. Okay, from 63 Industries, the unit price is $7 a ton, excuse me, and they have included testing at 6 different tests for $150 each. Okay, I'll move on to Western. Okay, they're proposing unit price $7.25 per ton. And this is at the general location that we had submitted in the original bid documents, which is up north near Highway 34 near Union Center. It's kind of the general area in which we need a gravel stockpile. So those are the two bids we have. I guess we should probably review these with the state's attorney to make sure everything is here.
Yeah, if you'd want to do that with state's attorney and your liaisons, that'd be wonderful. Anyone from the public wish to speak to that? Since the hearing? Not seeing anyone come forward, so I'll close public testimony. So yeah, if you want to get together state's attorney and your liaisons, that'd be wonderful, and bring it back whenever you're comfortable. I guess if you're ready by the end of this meeting, that's fine. If you'd like to take it to the next meeting, that'd be fine too. We'll put it on the agenda. So.
Thank you.
We're at HR. That will take a little time as the commission wishes a short break. Okay, we'll give a short break. You've been waiting very patiently, Deborah, but the commission's asking for a short break, so we'll take a short break at this time. We will go down to Human Resources, which is an E. We've jumped around just a bit, but the E1, or excuse me, we're going to go back to reports and updates, which is technically under routine business. But if you want to give us a quick report and updates of your office.
Quick report. Good morning, Commissioners. Deborah Bransford, Meade County Human Resource Director. The report for the month of May activities is posted under, well, it was posted under routine business. It's now moved down. A couple things I just want to update on there under open positions. Correctional officer, we just hired one person this past week. It leaves actually 2 open positions, and we have 1 pending offer, hoping that one will be also filled this week once their background is done, leaving only 1 position. So I think we're doing good there. And then the HR generalist position also has a new hire starting in a couple weeks. And IT, we are scheduling interviews. Mr. Tony gave me 8 applicants out of many, many, many applicants. So we will, yeah, it is wonderful. So we will begin those interviews here in June shortly. An update on the election workers. I still have 9 of those that worked that need to complete their new hire enrollment. Haven't heard from them or seen from them. 2 of them did come in last week, but I haven't seen anybody yet this week. And we have 9 left to finish. Just Miss Doreen did. Doreen was my temporary election worker in HR.
If there's something that we need to do on our end, will you please let us know?
Yeah, there's 9 of them, and I can send you their names so that they can.
So you'd prefer we reach out to them?
Whichever. Doreen has reached out to them, and if they come in this week, great. If they don't, I'll let you know. I think all of them are from a distance away, and I don't think they were planning on coming back last week. The other item I'm still waiting to get scheduled on the calendar, it's changed a couple times, is the union negotiating meeting date. It's been changed again. I have proposed the 23rd of June. I think that is a commission meeting date for us to meet. I haven't heard back from James, so I'm just waiting to hear back, and then I'll give you an update. So lots of date changing there. The other thing that was mentioned, I was requested to update or to add, revise a policy under the handbook section 515. I've added the comment on county property. The use of county facilities and property for personal use is prohibited. Failure to comply with this provision may result in disciplinary action up to and including termination of employment. This will be added under Section 5-15.
We're not E1 on the agenda. Something that I believe the state auditor, Al Schaefer, brought that we probably should have in policy.
His recommendation.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So is the wording on that okay? We're all good with that? Okay.
That'll take action to put that in policy, won't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes, so any questions, comments, and or action, add that to our policy agenda. Policy.
I'll move to approve the county property bridge wording for the handbook.
Motion second on the floor to add the county property usage to our handbook. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. E2, handbook policy on fraud.
I think this one was put together by Ken. I don't see him here right now, but Ken shared this one with me as well, that this would be a new section added to Section 1. Right now we go Section 1 through 9, so Section 10 would be workplace fraud or theft.
Any other questions, comments to that? Questions to this policy?
Again, I think this one was a recommendation from Al as well.
And it was.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes, it was, and Ken worked to get this together from that recommendation. I asked if Ken would write something. Anyone see any problems with this? Okay. We have action on that then.
I'll make a motion to approve the wording for the fraud section, I guess, in
the... motion is to add section 1-10 workplace fraud or theft to the handbook as written. Is there any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I just also want to mention both of those were sent to James with the union last week. So he's aware we're making those changes to the handbook if they were approved.
Thank you.
The last item I have is in discussion with Sheriff West and Captain Deo. We have a resignation in the jail organization with the admin position. The current employee will be retiring. They have requested to make a change and kind of an organizational change to that position, moving it from an admin to a senior correctional officer. That position is in our classification. This would change the position from a retirement class A at 6% to a B at 8%. The job description has been or is being tweaked by Captain Deo. I have his first version of it. I'm making a few changes to it yet. It does require the additional skills would be mostly accounting, billing. Probably the auditor office would be able to speak better to what, if there's anything that crosses over. Is there from your area, Dawn? Don't think so. Okay. I just know when I met with the admin person, they said, there's a high percentage of the job requires someone that is very accurate in accounting and billing skills. They felt that the background of a CO is necessary in this position to understand the jail facility, the duties and such. And also the current admin does work as a backup. If somebody should call in sick and they're short-staffed, the admin will now go up and relieve anybody for a break or for lunch or dinner if they're there working, but no ability to help really a CO officer. So they feel that this would be a good position to fit better into their organization as a senior. And they can cover shifts. They would already understand the control room, the procedures on the floor, and the admin has been open to being willing to come back and do some training, even if it's after their current resignation date, which is currently set for June 19th. She's willing to come back and help do training wherever it's called for. The admin grade is a grade 12. A CO grade is a grade 14. That wage is set at $25.09. And a senior correctional officer starting wage is a grade 15 at $26.36. Currently, the admin that is there has been here for many, many, many years and makes well above either of those wages.
Well, Sheriff West, would you want to come forward in case there's questions? This was not on the agenda. We've discussed in the past if we want to have action to approve these or not. I guess if the title is there, I guess I don't know if we have to.
It's more of an organizational change to that department.
I understand. I'm just asking. Yep. and I'm handling this under updates, is why we're bringing this down, so we can even discuss it, so we are with the open meetings. So just FYI if everyone has any questions.
Yeah, I think the discussion is good. Especially if we're modifying kind of how the organization is done. The grades are in there. It obviously is going to probably fall within the budget. We're taking essentially a lower pay because the person was in there. But I do think, transparency-wide, I think it's important to have.
Any other questions? No more questions. We'll move on.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
guys.
all I have.
Thank you. Yep, Sheriff West.
So
Sorry, and I should ask it. Yeah.
No, that's fine. My question is I'd like to move as quick as we can on this. So can we just go ahead and push it through and make it happen? Is that what I'm reading?
I think we have to post that first for at least 3 days.
Correct. That's fine. Okay.
And, yeah, I guess, and I can go back and forth on some of these because, like with IT, we put that on the agenda and we approved it, and we've done that in the past with new when something comes around. I don't see a problem with this. It is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But to have and I'm just saying I don't see a problem. But at the same time, I think it's always good. I think what we need, especially from the larger departments, highway, sheriff, I think all departments, we need to have org charts, and then we need to say what classifications are, and then that needs to come through the commission when there's some changes, just so everyone's on the same page.
Correct.
So do you want this added for an approval then? We're not adding a head count. Where IT, we added a head count.
That's exactly the difference I'd see.
Yeah.
On IT, it was a FTE,
Was
which I think
different?
we need to act on. If in this situation, it's a position change with just changing some of the qualifications.
Sure.
Correct. And potential internal promotion and a backfill or whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could see, for the FTE, adding the FTE, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with
just reorganizing and not adding FTEs or adding higher salary demand. I think they should. I'll say what we're doing so we don't get caught with people asking us what's going on. But I don't see that we have to affirmatively act if HR agrees it's within the budget, within their scope, and it's a defined position.
And it sounds like it's a good idea. I think it sounds like this is a good.
So it would be a sorting wage then at 2636, grade 15, and class under retirement classification of B. Okay.
So yes, you can.
So, all right. Okay, thank you. That's all I have today.
Okay,
Any questions for HR?
I believe so.
Okay, thanks.
Let's go down to planning. First is the March KPI report.
Morning, County Commissioners. Tanya Vig, Planning Director. For the month of May, we took in 54 total permits and licenses. Of those permits, 50 total permits were issued for a total of $17,897. The breakout is below, and attached are the charts that support the different dollar amounts within those categories. April's planning meeting was fairly quiet. We approved one preliminary plat, one final, and we spoke on 2 forms of intent. Assigned 15 addresses or altered them. The new thing is Meade County now has an online portal service for contractors, building permits, wastewater permits digitally. Slowly we've been getting the word out there that they're available. Working pretty well so far on coming in. Little tweaks here and there still on them, but any questions on the report?
Questions for Ms. Big?
Are you seeing much traffic on the portal now?
It just went live 2 weeks ago.
I'm hopeful that it does help.
We're getting some in, yeah. So we got another one in, I believe, yesterday, so we're pushing it out there.
I did see it maybe kind of a socialization of that, making sure.
Post on Facebook, we moved it up on our Facebook, on our webpage to a higher place so people can find it easier.
Any other questions for Ms. Big? Not, let's move on down to G2. The variance request. Yeah, if you'd like to come forward, ma'am. Ms. Dago, did you explain in brief what we're looking at?
So the first variance request is the ordinance 33, article 7.7.9, to install a well on less than 9 acres. This was a plat done in 2020 for Golden Valley subdivision. The final plat acknowledged that the variance would be recommended to install a private well. This is kind of a cleanup. They're wanting to sell their lot. Part of selling the lot, they need to secure that a well can be issued on that lot, and this is a variance for that. The planning board made recommendation of approval and submitted it up to you guys for review.
Ma'am, if you'd like to, do you have anything to add to that?
Just we're really hoping to get this wrapped up so we can get the property sold.
Sure. Commissioner Wyzorek is planning chair. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so this, there's some, back in 2020 when they did this plat, it was probably a variance should have even been granted then because there was a lengthy discussion on it. It is 8.662 acres, so it's not significantly smaller than the 9 acres. Current planning board also thought it was acceptable to allow the variance.
Yeah, I see it as a unanimous vote as well. Is there any other questions, comments on this? And/or action?
I'll move to approve the variance request.
Motion is second to approve the variance request to allow a well to be dug. Is that
yes.
correct, Ms. Big? Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you for coming in, Dave. Let's go down to G3, which is another variance request. You got you guys here today, Shannon? Go ahead, Shannon. I'll just have you explain what you're asking for. Turn your mic on if you would, please, Shannon.
Shannon, Boston Spaceline Surveying. This variance request was for the client come back to ask for an 18-foot road surface throughout for the whole length of the road running east and west. There was a pre-approval for the driveways to be 14, but this request is coming back for an 18-foot wide surface on the main road. So the main road that I'm talking about is serving the 2 lots. It does have potential to serve additional property was on the ranch. So, but at this point, it's serving the 2 lots that you see on the screen.
Okay, so essentially, you originally asked to have a 14-foot road, and that was denied by planning. Is that correct?
No. So initially, we had the 14-foot the driveways, the spurs off that bottom south line. We have those approved at a 14-foot wide surface. At that time, the landowner didn't contest that the road running east and west on the south side was to be built full 28-foot, but he come back after the fact, wasn't really paying attention to that, and came back to planning to ask for an 18-foot wide surface rather than the 28.
Well, the actual variance requested to be 18 to the first driveway and then 14 thereafter. Staff recommended against that. At the hearing, they said they were fine with making it 18 all the way. So that's why the language says that you're not granting the variance because the variance asks for 14 for the last half of that.
So essentially, and Commissioner Wyzorek as planning chair, correct me if I'm wrong. Essentially, you granted a variance to allow an 18-foot driving.
Yes, on that would be the east-west road coming into the property.
Okay, so that's what you guys did essentially.
Yes, they wouldn't agree to the 14.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So is there anything else you have to add to that as planning chair?
Only question is, I know we did this for a couple in this. Did we say the variance only applies for the existing structures, not if they want
Wouldn't would that require them to come in and get another variance?
Yeah, they'd have to get another variance.
So, I mean,
well, no, but that's why, that's, the question is, and we kind of had this debate, and had several variances, so it kind of blurs. Is whether we need to be clearer on these variances. So you're given an 18-foot, but what if they add another structure down there, or another house, or another, okay, then should they have to upgrade it, or have to come and get a variance to use that existing 18? That is, there's this question about if you give the variance for the 18, can they add to it, and should we be clarifying some of these issues? Tanya's been working really well to try to get some of this more documented so it's clear, so when it gets in front of a planning board 5 years from now, people know what was going on. And so, I'm just gonna make a motion.
Sure, that's.
Can I add?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Can we add what kind of standard it needs to be built to? Because that's another issue that I'm running into. Are we building to ordinance 10 requirements that it's 18-foot with 4-to-1 slopes to a road standard, or is there a different standard we're building to? Because that's the new question that's coming in. And what type of culverts are we going to use under Bear Butte Road? Are they the typical 18, or if it requires a larger culvert, we have the discretion to add a bigger size?
Does the ordinance 10 give you that authority? Okay.
So we just need to know which, if we're going to make them build the ordinance 10 compliantly, then that's what I would like to see.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. We should maybe clarify that, but I think my default, the only variance you're given from ordinance 10 is driving surface, so all other ordinance 10 should apply, whether there's any question in that. But because the variance is a variance from the requirements of the ordinance. The only thing you're given a variance to is surface. And so everything in ordinance 10, if it's easier to communicate it to the public, we could start adding on these variances that the variance to ordinance 10 only for the following provision, or all other, or add or catch all at the end of all other requirements of the ordinance remain. County ordinance.
And you've done a good job. You're getting better with your motions. On how we read them, though, is what I'm trying to say, because we're getting more specific, and it's getting more clear what's in there.
I think it's going to help people down the line, and
because they used to say a couple of years ago, a lot of times you would find them say as written or something, and then you had to dig back through things, and so I appreciate it when it says 18 feet. That's cut and dry to me, and I think it helps. Shannon, I think it helps you too, because it's pretty clear what we're.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And on the design standard, it's just always accepted. In my eyes, that we're not deviating anything from a design standard to just the width. So, design standards all by ordinance 10. So.
You had a motion in mind, Commissioner Weisberg.
All right. Make a motion. Grant partial approval of the variance by waiving the requirement under Ordinance 10, Article 3.3.2.1 to allow an 18-foot driving surface, 66-foot wide, primary private access utility road, part of the preliminary plat of Lot 1 and 2 of Diamond Estate. That no other requirements of county ordinance waived by this variance, and that this variance is only valid as to lots and homes accessing off of this road. Require another variance that we're bringing county specification.
We have a second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. To allow
Will you help me with that?
Yes, I will. If you would read are you on the board docs page, Don?
Yes.
Okay, so if you would go to the board docs page, how that reads right there is how he basically said it, basically. What he said was he made a motion to allow partial approval of a variance. And I'm going to ask your legal opinion on those words. Is it necessary to say that if you're basically granting a variance for the 18-foot? So the variance is for 18 feet.
But no, the variance was for 18, then 14.
Okay, so
that's why Tanya and I had an exchange about this yesterday. As originally posted was granting the variance for 18 foot, but that's not what the variance says. So, what in working with Tanya, we're trying to avoid is all of a sudden it says we grant the variance because everybody agreed it was 18 foot, but then if anybody goes back and look at the actual application, that's not what it says.
Sure. Okay.
Somebody comes back a year later and says, no, here's what the variance says.
I get you. But yeah, essentially we're granting a variance for 18 foot. So basically what he said, this is what he said. If you read that on the recommended motion, Don, it says grant a partial approval of a variance to Ordinance 10, Article 3.3.2.1 to allow an 18-foot variance, correct?
To allow an 18-foot driving surface.
Okay. Yep. Within the 66-foot wide primary, private access, and utility easement connecting to Bear Butte Road. He essentially read what this says, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, we're Tanya and I have kind of had an exchange. I think we're going to try to get more specific in some of the language and what was approved by. It's a little bit tough because some of these were just approved last Monday. Yeah. So when we get them posted, I mean, they're still working the minutes, but.
And as I mentioned before, I appreciate that. So Commissioner Wyzorek, if how that reads on the recommended motion on this page, are you fine with that? I understand. You didn't say to deny the use of the 14-foot surface.
Yeah, but you need to add the restriction that if they want to add.
Okay.
That the variance isn't valid for adding more houses.
So if a house is added, they will have to come back in and reapply.
Right. So you got lots 1 and 2. All of a sudden, and there's some drainage issues here. One of the reasons I want to be a little more specific here is this. They showed up. They said they wouldn't have any problem doing the 28 feet. Coming back, and I just want to make sure we're all. This has been a. I haven't seen this a number of times. Do you have it? Yes.
I have it pretty good, not that I can
if you could read
recite it back.
Yep, if you'd read it back, we'll see if Commissioner Wyzorek agrees.
Well, I have it in pieces.
Okay.
So I
do have a comment if you want to keep writing. Comment on the whole discussion, but so one of the reasons that maybe I'm okay with this one is because it is in a private easement. It is not a through road, or it's not really designed to be a through road. There is property behind this property to develop, but I'm not real sure that pushing this one to a 28-foot road makes that a better solution. And anything that would happen, they'd have to come back for modification of the private easement to become a right-of-way. So then at that point, we could push them to a 20. That's the limit.
You want me to read it? Motion for partial approval of a variance to Ordinance 10, Article 3.3.2.1, allowing construction of an 18-foot wide driving surface within a 66-foot wide primary private access and utility easement connecting to Bear Butte Road as part of the preliminary plot of Lot 1 and Lot 2 of Double Diamond Estates, located in the north half, southwest quarter, and northwest quarter of Section 23, Township 6 North, Range 5 East, EHM, Meade County, South Dakota. The variance is only valid for the lots on this plot.
Just like I said.
Dreams.
Aye.
Just to see.
Let's go down to item
There you go.
Okay, Shannon Baseline Surveying, again. So this one became in front of you guys last time to send it back to planning. So we went back to planning with a variance request on the road width of 139th place. That variance was approved based on, at this time I did provide a sketch based on a site visit with staff. So we generated a existing conditions exhibit, which shows the average road width to being about 27 feet. It's a lot wider, pushing to 30 when it hits Elk Creek Road approach area. But this was approved by planning, the variance request to relieve 139th the way it is. So.
Mr. Wyzorek, you have anything to add as planning chair?
No, I drove the area and the road's actually in pretty good shape until you kind of get further south. But past this flat end looks pretty good.
Okay, any other questions, comments, and or action?
I'll make a motion to approve variance request. Preliminary plat of lot 1A and lot B. That is correct.
Aye.
Good morning, Daniel Egan with AE2S. We are seeking a variance to the storage requirements for a public water system. The requirements require 300 gallons per household for 3 days. The current system does not meet this tank storage requirement, but as part of this development, we are looking to bring the system into compliance with the ordinance. We have requested an additional 120 gallons per minute water rights from the state. Just went through public comment. There was no comment received, so they are looking to approve that in the next month. And then we'll be adding a generator to the system so that we can use the water rights that are available as part of the storage requirements for fire flow. And then as far as subsequent phases of the development, we'll be adding an additional 40,000 gallons of storage.
there's current storage on that.
Yeah, the current system has 30,000 gallons.
Commissioner Wyzorek, you guys had a lengthy conversation on this the other day in planning. You have anything to add, or?
No. I'm just going to drive Dawn crazy with when I make this motion.
Well, that's nothing new.
I'm
That's
going to
okay.
I'm going to follow this as much as possible, but I think clarification.
Knock into your mic.
I could if I wanted to.
Yeah, and at least you're being consistent on both driving Dawn crazy and not talking into your mic.
Well, all the better. All the better.
Any other questions, comments? I guess, how many gallons a minute does this well put out?
They got to develop it yet.
Okay.
So it's currently, you can get about 70.
Yeah, it's currently approved through the state for 50, or for 50. The pump will produce 90 gallons per minute.
So if the well's only producing 50, how does the well, what good does the pump do that's going over that?
So the state lowered their gallons per minute because they weren't using the full amount that they originally.
That's your water, right? That's
Right.
not what the well's producing. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
thank
the
you. I
well,
asked
the
what
well can produce more.
Okay, that's so.
And we applied for more water rights for 150 gallons per minute. The state has approved it. It went through the journal, and then also the Faith newspaper with no comments. So it's going to the next step. I think it goes to the board on the 1st for approval with that as well.
So it hasn't been approved, and you asked to get the 120, or you asked to get the 90?
We asked for 120 to 150, and they gave us 153.
What? So you don't know what? You didn't do a test on the well then after it was dug?
So this well's been in production for 7 years.
So what was it tested at 7 years ago?
I think the question is a pump test. Has there been a pump test to even know it can produce 120 gallons?
That's my question. Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Wyzorek.
I don't have that. I guess I'm not aware of a pump test. I assume there was one done when the well was done. It is understood that there will be additional, I guess a new pump will need to be placed into the well in order to reach that 150. So,
and I guess that in lies some of my concerns, because you're asking for less capacity based on that 120 gallon a minute, but we don't know what that well even puts out. Is that fair to ask? I mean, it doesn't sound like you guys know what the well's producing, correct?
I would have to confirm what that pump test was when it was.
And that was
put
7
in.
years ago. There hasn't been, and obviously we know those can go up and down.
Right.
I guess that's my main question: is if that well can actually produce that much. What aquifer is it in?
Indian Cara.
How big is the casing?
I'm assuming the AE2S is run the numbers of the size of the pump you need in the case.
And I mean, that'll be on the state website.
Well, yeah, no, not necessarily. Well, yeah, the
But pump
casing
test.
will be, but initial pump. But sometimes they won't push them. If you're only getting a license for 90, they won't push it past
Right.
100.
And that's why.
And the pump's too small, probably. If that's the pump they drop, unless they dropped a bigger pump.
Yeah, I would assume the pump would be too small, but I was just curious what the well itself produces in the casing, because 120 is significant. That's a significant amount, especially in the Indian Care. I mean, if we're in the Madison,
We did reach out to a company in Omaha that supplies the pumps, and they ran the numbers based on the pumps, the pipe size, and the pump. The piping would supply the amount of water.
well, yeah, and I don't doubt that. I'm not questioning that. That's why, but I did ask. That's why I asked what the well itself. I mean, if the well's only producing 60, then we can go up to 1,000 gallon a minute pump, and you're not going to get 1,000 gallon a minute. That's my question. Yeah, I mean, you can have all the pipe in the world, but if the pump, you're going to burn your pump out.
Right.
So the question is, the concern is, the variance is on the capacity that you need in reserve to handle these houses. And you far and away match that by your pumps. I'm not questioning that. Your pump, your pipe size, all of that, but that also would depend on what that well is putting out to be able to get it into the reserve to do that. Otherwise, if the well is, if the well's not producing that, you're going to need more capacity to handle those houses.
Do you have a scheduled pump test coming up for this project, or just?
We have not.
Sometimes the state will require them before you do your permit.
And Commissioner Weiser, a question. Typically, it would happen at the initial well after you get the well drilled.
Well, not necessarily. If you're upping it, sometimes the state will make you run a pump just to make sure the production's there, your drawdown's not overly, severe. I recognize the chair's concern, and I was actually thinking about that a bit even before you brought that up. And I can incorporate that within a motion.
You can make that in a motion, because like I said,
Dawn wants me to.
I know she does. Because we're asked to bring the capacity of the reserve down to half.
Yep.
And so that's, to me, it's a concern of what that well's putting out.
Totally agree.
And as it stands now, phase 1 can be fully supported with this system. The system can support an additional 18 lots, or an additional 18 systems without additional water rights. Part of this is for future build out. And then John was planning to set aside land for an additional well lot. So if the well cannot produce the capacity, an additional well would be drilled.
Yeah, part of the next phase, he's going to have to set aside some of this extra stuff. But the representation was made. Some of this would occur.
Okay, any other questions, comments, and/or action? It sounds like Commissioner Wyzorek is just dying to make a motion, and Don is dying to hear one.
Yeah, so just a couple of questions for the proponents on it. This is your first phase. You're doing 8 lots, correct?
Correct.
The existing system would comply with Meade County ordinance as it sits, or it doesn't have capacity even to do that, but there's enough production when you add the production in, even at the 50? Is that what you're saying?
So as it stands now, there's not a backup generator for the well, so you can't count production per the ordinance, and so it doesn't technically meet ordinance as it stands now with the storage.
With the storage or with the generator?
With the generator and the storage, it would be in compliance.
Okay. Because you could run the pump, and between the storage and running the pump, you could keep your storage up for the 3 days.
Correct.
All right. So I guess the question is, my question now becomes, do you see an issue if the variance would require getting the pump set and everything before you get these 8 lots platted? Because right now the variance reads just for getting a water permit. Is the plan to actually go get the pump as part of this first phase and get it upsized and everything?
No, not with the pump, because the current once the state approves more water, that pump will be pumping out more water. So to throw a big pump in there for
So you're going to push it to the 90, and you're going to step it when you do your next phase.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So, all right. I think I can do this now. But,
I have confidence in you.
Yeah. Well. Make a motion to approve the variance to Ordinance 33, Article 7.5. The following conditions: that the applicant receive a state water permit, at least 120 gallons per minute. That additional 40,000 gallons of water storage, in combination with 30, be provided. Yeah, so I think it needs, and Dawn, where I'm getting is, there's 30,000 there now, they're gonna add 40 for a total of 70. So if you wanna say that after the gallons per minute, say that they provide a total 70,000 gallons of water storage, would include the 30,000 existing.
Total of at least, probably.
Total of at least, yeah. I mean, if it's
Understand.
80,000, I don't care.
Yeah, I understand, but yeah.
And that a generator be installed prior to final approval of the plat. Prior to approval of future phases, we'll need to complete a pump test showing that the well can produce the 120 gallons per minute, in addition to whatever might be necessary on the subsequent build out. So that's my motion. If somebody had seconded, I'd explain what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to get him that, look, let's get the pump test done, but what he needs to do is get this in place. He could be able to use the old pump, and then he can sell those lots because those pumps are expensive. He's probably going to need some of that money. But when you come back in, I think a pump test is a good idea on that well. Now that doesn't mean that you have to buy the pump necessarily. You could bring in swap it out with a replacement at that time. Pump test would be my thought. I mean, you can make that call as you're going into the second phase. So I'd be willing to provide you, except there's some flexibility. I don't have a problem with them using the existing pump when they're only adding 8 lots to me. But I think the chair raises a good question that you're going to need the 120 to avoid the storage. You're going to have to show us you can produce the 120.
Question on the generator.
Yep.
Generator, is that for the 8-lot subdivision or all of the subdivision?
It's on the existing water facilities, which somebody else owns. So I think you're buying them basically a generator. Is that how I understand?
Right. Yep. The generator will be installed to bring it up to code for my development.
Yes.
So it'll be, the whole system will be
compliant. Right. It'll add to that. It's Bridle Ridge. So it'll benefit the existing because you have a generator now that will benefit the existing subdivision that's already, it's not totally built out, but pretty much built out.
Is this a gravity system from the storage?
It's a pump system.
So the generator would supply power to both the well pump as well as the pump out of the storage then?
Yes.
Correct.
Don, are you comfortable with the motion if you'd like to read it?
Want me to come look over your shoulder? Well, only if you want.
Go ahead and read it first and we'll see if we need
I
Commissioner
might
Wysorick
need to add a couple
you.
more words. Motion to approve the variance to Ordinance 33, Article 7.5, with the following conditions: that the applicant receive state approval of a minimum of 120 gallons per minute, that they provide a total of 70,000 gallons of water storage, which includes the 30,000 existing, and that a generator be installed prior to final plot approval, and prior to approval of future stages, that they show proof that the well can produce 120 gallons per minute.
Just for clarification, would the 40,000 gallons per minute need to be installed for these first 8 lots?
Well, that's what the variance asked for, correct?
I thought that was the requirement for the preliminary plat. It's the generator and the storage was for the 8 lots.
Right.
Gotta go back to the preliminary plat requirements also.
Yeah. So they're going to need you guys got to get it up to 70.
For the whole.
Well, but
once we're full built
yeah,
out.
but we're approving the 8 now, and and we needed extra storage even for the 8. Am I following that correctly?
Oh, I understood it from the
Yeah.
planning board meeting.
Oh, so then, yeah, it would include this first stage.
Well,
If
I
it's
don't know
if it's required for the 8.
if you don't need the storage, I don't know why we're given a variance.
I understand, but that's what she said it would be required for the, right?
I thought that was discussed during the planning board is for the first 8 lots before final platting that the generator and the storage would have to meet them.
So the only thing on the motion that I'm hearing, Commissioner Wazorek, that's contingent on the additional lots after the 8 is the pump test of the 120 gallon a minute. Is that correct? Everything else has to be done now?
Well, that's the way I understand it.
That's the way I understand it too. That's what I'm asking.
That's the way I understand it. Now, I mean, I don't know, is the argument that you don't need that much storage for the first 8 and you were not going to add storage, or?
So I guess the plan was to bring the additional 40,000 gallons after the first phase.
I'm fighting a little bit with how it's written here versus trying to remember.
So what would, Ms. Vig, what would the requirement be on storage for the next 8? The first phase of this, what they're doing, what would they need for storage to get it to that they could?
The 3-day storage requirements.
So how many gallons is that?
900 gallons per lot.
So how many gallons total is that?
Lots currently.
How many lots?
78 current lot.
The 70 times 900.
What is there currently?
78 existing. So based on that ordinance, they'd need 70,200.
So you need that. So you're
to be without the generator.
I understand. So yeah, I guess I'm a little bit confused too, because I thought that's what we were asking for, was for a variance for this first, to get moving on this, not for the future plats, I guess.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
So in the planning motion, if we left that in there, after we say to show proof that the well can produce 120 gallons per minute, do you want left in there for the preliminary plot of lots 1 through 8 of Summerview development? We'll leave the rest of that in.
I did still want to say it.
I can add the storage in. I just, the 8 lots didn't need it, but the full development did. So,
but the 8 lots do need it because it needs 70,000 gallons worth of storage for that 70,200. So even with the 70,000, you'd be under that 200. So technically, you do need it for that, right, Ms. Vig? Am I hearing that correct?
Yeah, I'm looking at the planning motion.
Yeah, fair.
So I can.
Yeah, let's make sure we get it right. Like I said, part of the problem is I haven't seen the minutes yet for planning, and I'm trying to do this by memory. And I want to make sure we're specific in these variants.
Hey, Rhea, could you go to June 1st, planning board? We're going to go to the planning minutes, the planning board, or the preliminary plat motion.
Well, yeah, but those were made at the June, so. Okay, but you have the minutes drafted, is that what?
Yep. Minutes aren't drafted yet, but the motion, keep going down to new business. C. To the motion.
Yeah, but you got to go up to the variance.
Item 4. Or F. 4G. Next one, sorry.
That's basically, this motion's based on the motion made by, with a couple of clarifications I made on the production. So,
you have an idea for something else that you want to change in the motion, or the motion stands?
The developer said that he can do the storage. And he can. And
Would you read the motion one more time, please, Don?
Motion to approve the variance to Ordinance 33, Article 7.5, with the following conditions: that the applicant receive state approval of a minimum of 120 gallons per minute, that they provide a total of 70,000 gallons of water storage, which includes the 30,000 existing, and that a generator be installed prior to final plot approval and prior to approval of future stages, that they show proof that the well can produce 120 gallons per minute for the preliminary plot of lots 1 through 8 of Summit View development and the dedicated public right-of-way of Summit View Loop, formerly a portion of Smith Ranch subdivision.
That sound good to you, Commissioner Weisert? Rich, did you give the second? Who gave the second?
Earl did.
Sorry. Good. And so it sounds like to me within that is everything else other than the pump test of the well has to be done now. So everyone else is taking it? Okay. Any other discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Is that, did you agree to that? Aye. Denied it. Okay, so we had one deny. Is that correct? If you marked that Commissioner Liggett denied, or was a no. So motion carries, so then a 4-to-1 vote.
We don't have a pump, or we don't have a permit yet, so that's fine. Because it may or may not. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to come back, but I don't know that for sure. And I think how this all works.
Okay, let's move down to G6. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
There's another variance request.
So the one thing I just want to point out on the last one, Mr. Kinsella has been really pretty good about trying to work with staff and trying to figure it through and I do appreciate that some of the solutions he's trying to create will benefit existing homeowners in the area.
Okay, Shannon, go ahead.
Shannon Boston, Spaceline Surveying. Here to represent Gary Kinsler has applied for a variance to Ordinance 10, Article 3.2.1.1 to allow 140th Avenue to remain in existing conditions without further improvement. He did submit a preliminary plot plan of 4-lot subdivision. None of those lots, none of the new lots will access off 140th. There's only one existing approach off 140th, and that will access the larger 20-plus acre lot known as Lot 1. So lots 2, 3, and 4 will access off State Highway. There's one existing approach in the southwest corner of Lot 2, and then Lot 3 and Lot 4 there will be a new approach installed there to access, provide access for Lot 3 and 4. That access has been approved by the state DOT department, so all that's in place. But again, back to the variance, they're asking for no further improvement to the county road 140th. So,
thank you, Commissioner Weisort.
This one went through a couple different reiterations. The original configuration was kind of rejected. They wanted 4 lots up in the front, and the 140th is problematic. It has a drainage issue. Water can sit over it for great periods of time, not very often. That's why when you look at the variance, the planning board recommends that further subdivision of this property until 140th is issued. 140th are figured out.
Again, it was a unanimous vote in planning. Any other questions, comments, and/or action?
Make a motion to approve the variance to Ordinance 10, Article 1.2.1.1 to allow 140th Avenue local road to remain current reduced for the preliminary plats of lots 1 through 4, with the condition that no further subdivision of the property can occur until 1/40th is improved. County specification.
Can you repeat that last part with the condition that no further subdivision
Of this property approved until 1/40th is improved to existing county specification. And then you can put all that other fun stuff in there.
and who was the second? Thank you.
Would you go ahead and read that, please, Don?
Motion to approve the variance to Ordinance 10, Article 3.2.1.1 to allow 140th Avenue, an existing local road, to remain at its current reduced width for the preliminary plats of lots 1 through 4, with the condition that no further subdivision of this property can be improved till 140th is improved to existing county specifications.
The first improve should be approved.
Commissioner Wazorek, I see planning had the current reduced width, they have it specified as a plus or minus 22 feet. Is that necessary?
I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's a county-maintained road right now, but not very wide, and
I'd ask.
It's a swimming pool or something.
You have a question on the motion. So it says for the preliminary plats of the lots, but it is actually going to be platting of those lots. So I don't know if preliminary is all for just this.
Yeah. I don't think it get past preliminary. I think it's probably why it reads. You can't approve the preliminary plat, and once it's a condition of once you get the variance, it applies to the. But I 6 1/2 dozen other. Yeah.
You good?
Yes.
Okay. The motion's good. Everyone's good. Any more discussion to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon, for coming in. Thanks, Ms. Vick. Let's go down to commission. H1 in communique, we have date from Sturgis Arts on that. If not, let's move down to H2, which is consider moving our July 28th commission meeting to August 4th. We have an election that needs to take place on July 28th, so I thought it would be appropriate to move to another date. I think August 4th is appropriate because we'll meet on the third Tuesday in August, which will be our only meeting in August, so this actually spaces our meetings out really good. So this will take action to change our schedule. Anybody else have any other ideas?
We're going to have to canvass that election, right?
We will.
Do you want? Should we set that at the same time? Maybe that Friday at 9.
And
Don't know the date of the state canvass is the only thing, and they held theirs the following Tuesday, and we have to have ours done. For the primary, they held theirs the following Tuesday.
but we could, if it would align.
Well,
with-
we could. I mean, if we got to wait for the state, we got plenty of time to set that. I guess I just was calling that out.
That's a very good point.
Well, we would maybe have to meet on July 31st.
But
for
we
the
could do
canvass.
it the same day the state does it too, couldn't we?
We have to do it before, because we have to have
What
everything
time do they
submitted to
canvass
them.
it though?
We'd have to have it to them.
Okay. Okay.
Well, that's just. I mean, that's kind of a side question.
That was a good point. I never thought of the
Fallen in
canvas. So.
I mean, I didn't think we could wait for August 4th to
Right.
canvass at the regular meeting, but if we do. I guess I don't have a problem with moving the meeting. And come on the 4th and go buy some T-shirts.
All right.
Rally's late this year, so.
Yes, but I'm sure there'll be some vendors here.
Would you, I guess another question for you, Commissioner Wojorek, you'll have planning, I assume, on the 3rd. I like staying consistent on Tuesday is the biggest thing. I guess would it be possible to, would that help you out, I guess?
Well, no, we're not going to turn, I mean, we won't turn any of the planning stuff around, so.
I understand, you'll have a meeting on the 3rd, I assume.
Right, I mean, so none of that will hit our agenda until the last.
I'm just asking if, okay, let's just keep it on Tuesday. What I was asking is if you'd want us to be in the morning and then you would in the afternoon.
Oh, well, fine with that too, that'd be.
But I do like to stay the consistency of a Tuesday. Is typically when people expect us to meet. We need action on this, so someone make a motion on a date and we will do it that day if it passes.
I'd make a motion to change our July 28th meeting to August 4th.
Motion a second on the floor to change our July 28th meeting to August 4th. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. H3, we need to set a hearing for the first reading of Resolution 2026-16, which is an ordinance imposing a county gross receipts tax and a use tax for Meade County, South Dakota for June 23rd at 10 a.m. This is as a result of Senate Bill 96 that is allowing counties to impose a sales tax, which that will obviously won't take place. The law won't come into effect until July 1, but we could have our first reading prior to that. So I assume we're going to have a couple readings on this.
Yeah, probably. Can I have a couple quick questions?
Sure.
Rhea, is this a form the state produced? Okay, so it would be my understanding that we have to have this done and the state has to have it for 90 days before they can impose it. They can only impose the tax on January 1st or July 1. So I think we should, I'm going to vote to schedule it, but we should have, I would recommend the first day be January 1 of 2027 to install that. I think we need to put in a percent. We can do a half a point. My recommendation is do a half a point. We can edit from that, though I will tell everybody I'm generally supportive of half the point because it will use non-local money to offset taxes paid by local. So, yeah, so because we're going to want it complete, even if it's open for a discussion, so I'm assuming we're going to fill that out, but those would be the recommendations I'd make. So, and with that, I'll make a motion to set the first reading for our next meeting.
Motion is second on the floor to set the first reading of Resolution 2026-16 for June 23rd at 10 a.m.
And I have been gathering some data that I will forward to you commissioners yet likely this week.
For what kind of?
Sales tax information, owner-occupied numbers, etc. Just
and how much of the offset would be, how much we think we can project, maybe.
Numbers that you can just use in your discussions.
Any other discussion to that motion?
Was there numbers? They are numbers we're definitely going to want to get out to the public.
Yeah, so if it's the state numbers, I mean, for some of these counties.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to we can plan on how we're going to do this, but we have a motion and a second to set the first reading on July 23rd at 10 a.m. Any other discussion to the motion?
Chairman, who made the second?
Commissioner Severn. Any other discussion to the motion?
I will be anxious to see if the data that RIA compiles, if it goes along with the 12% savings that I believe the Department of Revenue
Can we
Yeah,
pass
that's
can we
fine.
pass this motion first, and then
Sure,
and then let's
that's
move
fine.
on, and then we can plan on how we're
I'm
gonna.
just following up with what Rhea said.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but we can plan on what we'll put on our agenda for this next time. We have a motion and a second on the floor to set a first reading. Any discussion to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do you have some suggestions on what you'd like to see when we set this on the agenda, Commissioner Creed?
Yes, I'm anxious to see what the data actually comes up with. Hopefully, we will be surprised in that we will have greater than a 12%.
Anybody else would like to see any information? Rhea's done it. I've seen some of the preliminary spreadsheets that you put together from, I guess is because I asked you to get some of those numbers put together, but so I appreciate you've done quite a bit of work on it already. And is there anything that comes to mind that you would like to see from this? Any information, I guess, if there is, Rhea would be happy to locate it.
I will send you what I have. From there, you can communicate to me if there's information that you would like to see in addition.
So far, you currently have 5 years of sales tax data for each month. Is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Every month, 12 months out of the year. So you could get that to all of us, I'd appreciate it. Well, let's move down to H4, Commission reports and updates. Anybody have anything they'd like to report or any updates? Saying nothing, let's move on down to consent.
Make motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the consent calendar. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there a need for executive session today?
Make a motion to go into executive session for personnel.
Let's add legal to that as well.
I'll second.
Okay, motion second on the floor to go into executive session for personnel, legal, and contractual. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Video on. I will declare us out of executive session. And we have completed all of our business and the agenda, and I'll declare us adjourned. Thank you.